Hello and welcome to Burning Questions, December 7, a big episode. Once again, we're going to go across a couple of states looking at the big racing in Queensland for the Inter-Dominion and also back home closer to my doorstep and closer to Andy's doorstep at Melton. A big show, actually, or a special show, a couple of debutantes. And I might start with the man that appears on the left of my screen. And I never know where everyone's going to end up on these Zoom calls. But Cam Hart, really appreciate you jumping on, mate. And when I rang you to jump on, I thought you were going to say no, but you actually seemed somewhat excited to come on to Burning Questions.
Yeah, hey Tim, thanks for having me on. But yeah, I've tuned into a few burning questions, so happy to be on and give a few opinions.
It has been dubbed the Andy Gath Show once before, Andy. I reckon you've been on the show more than me. So what I will say, though, you had a hiatus for about 3 weeks after Where's the Gold won the SA Cup and knocked off Tango Tara. All of a sudden, your best bet lands last week and you win the Stall Cup and you're more than happy to jump on. What's the go there?
Yeah, no, it took a bit of time to get over that defeat, especially your horse beating me. So it's all good now. So we'll be back on track and be on every week from now on.
Well, as you said, it's not a Grand Circuit race, so you wouldn't really care that much. Ryan Phelan's another debutant. Great to have you on, mate. And where do we find you? You are one of the most travelled media men in the country. Are you in Victoria or are you up Queensland? Where are you at the moment?
No, I'm currently in Brisbane, located about 100 metres from the Albion Park track at the moment. It's been terrific up here for will be 3 rounds of the heats this coming Saturday night. But Toc, I'm what do they call it? A long-time listener, first-time caller, so to speak, with burning questions. And, you know, my opinion, I'm sure, will pale into mediocrity compared to Andy Gath and Cam Hart on this particular episode, but good to be a part of it.
Yeah, well, the thing I've learned on being on the show is Andy feels it's okay to send you text messages telling you your best bets are wrong and they're no good and they're all these sorts of things. So, you know, just be wary of that at the end of the show. Let's get stuck right into it. Pride's Easy Feed are our major sponsors, one of our major sponsors, and they stand as a proud supporter of the harness racing industry with their set recipes and quality ingredients to give the trainer confidence in what they're feeding. So make the switch to Pride's and start getting the result you've been chasing. We look at Melton for the first question. Have we seen enough to suggest it's VMG versus Magnetic Terror in the Gordon Rothicker final? And if so, who prevails? I might start with you, Ryan. They were both dominant winners of their heats, so these races are pretty easy to get a form gauge on, aren't they? Because you've got the heats to work off, and you know 2 dominant winners. I think they both won by over 7 metres. So, is it a battle between those two? And if so, which one are you siding with?
Oh, look, I might still be a little bit dirty with VMG McRae, because my fingers are still burnt from backing it when it ran second 2 starts in a row, and then she's come out and gone bang, bang. Look, I think a lot worked in her favour the other week when she was able to roll to the front. She got a pretty easy time in front. Maybe the setup's a little bit similar. She drew 5 in the heat. She's drawn 7 here. You know, it looks as though potentially the lead could be there again. Obviously, Andy's horse, Magnetic Terror, he's going to speak to it a little bit more, and the form certainly looks good there. But I'm more interested in Cora Valley Star and what Andy will say about this horse, because when you go back through its runs, I mean, you look at what it's been up against in New Zealand, the likes of Akuta and Republican Party, like that's A-grade New Zealand form. And Andy, it looked to me like the horse ran its race in patches. It looked almost gone at about the sort of 500-metre mark, and then was still, you know, hanging there in the straight. What have you done with that horse since that run? I know John Caldo goes on. Does that mean it's the second string in the race? So I think this is a good one for Andy to really sum up here, because I think they look to be the 3 key main hopes. Good
throw. Straight to you, Andy. How do you see it?
Yeah, obviously, the heat winners were quite dominant, and VMG McRae did get a slow lead time, but it was pretty impressive the way she won, and she done it well. And I think she's going to find the top again, but my 2 horses were drawn the back row, so that lead time has to sort of be around 45 or something for us to be a win hope. And I think it might. I think a couple might try and kick up inside it and sort of hand up to it. Cora Valley Star, he sort of didn't really handle that last bend. He can get on a knee a little bit, and he was hanging a little bit. So we've made a couple of little gear changes. So I think there was more, you know, him not handling the last bend. He still sort of got up the straight pretty good. So as you were saying, Ryan, he is a quality horse. He had really good form in New Zealand. It's raced some really good horses, so he's capable of winning, providing he gets around that last bend a lot better. So it was probably toss of the coin for Kate to know which one to drive. It was tricky, but she went with Magnetic Terror. So but he's probably my best chance because you sort of know what you're going to get from him. And I think I think he's the one to beat. And Cry Valley Star, if he gets around the last bend pretty good, he'd be pretty hard to beat as well.
Cam, obviously this is a little bit far away from home, but you would have tuned in or might have seen the replays or have some opinion on this race. Are you with one of Andy's horses or is it the horse off the front row for Jess Tubbs, VMG McRae, that might be able to get the front and win this feature race on Saturday night?
Well, I hate to do this with Andy here, but I think with the Tubbs runner having the barrier advantage, it's probably going to make it pretty tough for his horses they're probably going to have to make moves and get into the race at some stage. And, I think its heat run was pretty strong, and obviously Andy's horses was as well, but it's probably going to have to do it outside it at some stage, and that might just be the telling tale the last couple of 100 metres.
Yeah,
there does look to be speed though, Andy. Did you think that Illawong Awesome, Cemetery Bay, they might sort of punch out pretty hard and try to keep the other one wide for a little bit?
I think so. And it went back last week, Bruceland, but it can leave the gate okay, and it was quite strong on the line last week and ran really good sectionals. So I think it might go forward as well. So but if it gets the soft lead time again, no one will probably be beating it. But if it got to go a second faster or second half faster, it brings my two horses into it.
And sorry, Toc, I'm not taking over the presentation of your show here, but I'm just keen to have a punt, so I just want to know which one to back.
Well, Andy's probably leaning. It looks like you're leaning towards Magnetic Terror, Andy, but you're not ruling the other one out.
No, I'm not. Obviously, he's a quality horse, and I thought he had a good winning chance last week, and he still performed really well. Again, it's very hard when you do all the back row and a slow lead time, and you're the first one to go around and make a move. So, he battled on really good, and I think it'd be a lot sharper again this week.
I don't think I'm speaking out of turn, but you told me you were going to make Cora Valley Star your best bet until something came over your head and you said Magnetic Terror last week.
Yeah, no, obviously I thought he had a good winning hope, and he's got a good winning hope again, but I just think probably just leaning a little bit ahead with Magnetic Terror this week.
Yeah, good stuff. Well played. I'll probably just lean towards Magnetic Terror, but yeah, it's a tough race to bet in, to be honest. It could go a number of ways, but looking forward to the Gordon Rothwicker Memorial Final on Saturday night. Sulky app, combining the power of results and horse sectionals. With Sulky app, you now have access to gate speed, swooper, ability and behaviour ratings. Never miss a trainer, driver or gear change again. Sulky app is a form guide revolution. Can the SA filly win Melton's 2-year-old clash, or will one of the Vicks have too much dash? Cam, I'm pretty good at writing these questions, aren't I? I'm not bad. I can string together a couple of rhyming words. What are your thoughts here? Miss Idaho brings the South Australian form across. Hard to know where that stacks up. All I had to go off was, visually it's been very impressive, and also times have been pretty good there at Globe Derby. But it's an intriguing little race. How did you see the youthful stakes on Saturday night?
Yeah, I happened to see her last win in South Australia and thought it was a really strong win. Obviously did a bit of work early, went 3 wide to the chair, and yeah, they went at 56 for the 1800 there, which is good going for the 2-year-old fillies. So yeah, I think she's really in for a shot. I think the Victorians, there's no stars there by the looks. Thought Sarah Tesloyev could get a good trip. It's a very fast filly. I'm sort of familiar with her. She started racing here in New South Wales earlier in the season and got a good turn of foot, but just depends where they all end up in the run. And but I'd definitely say it's a big hope, the SA horse. Yeah.
I'm probably the same. I might go to you, Ryan. Free as a bird, jumping joy, and also Sarah Tesloy. There didn't seem to be a lot between them to me, and as Cam said, they don't appear to be stars. So I might even, I haven't seen a market, but I don't imagine Miss Idaho would be favourite. So I'd probably potentially take a chance on the SA filly just being a little bit better than these. I don't know how you see it.
Yeah, look, I agree with you, Toc. I think, if we go by the market that's currently up on harness.org.au, they've got Free as a Bird $1.60. In my market, I wouldn't have it anywhere near that. I'd definitely have it black odds. Miss Idaho, to talk in punting terms, yeah, the ones that you referenced, a lot of those 2-year-olds are all tied together. So you'd probably back the South Australian filly if you go for what they call in punting terms the DF, the different form. But I mean, the rule of thumb I'd go would be that Victorian form would always be stronger. So that would make me come back to the Victorian form. And to be honest, well, you go, Jumping Joy's actually beaten Free as a Bird, beat it at its very first start. And then I think since then didn't have a lot of luck from the barrier draw. The barrier draws were switched. Free as a Bird led and walked and sprinted home, and I think just got in. And the other one that Cam referenced, Sarah de Sloy, I thought its run was quite good in that same sort of race. It's going to be fitter and has come through pretty A-grade form behind Luxa Turner in New South Wales, which to me looks pretty good. Like, that seems to have upside. So, look, what I would say is that it's not a two-horse race. I would say any one of those four could win. Jumping to Joy, Free as a Bird, Miss Idaho, Sarah de Sloy, and it's probably going to come down to luck in running.
Yeah, I think you've nailed it. Not a race I'm thrilled to bet in. I say that every week, Andy, and I bet on every one of them. But have you got an opinion here? I know you know Ryan Roharic quite well, and he's a good friend of yours, and Kate's driving Miss Idaho. I imagine the instructions will be to be positive and that he's not bringing this horse here for no reason. He thinks he can win.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I agree with Ryan. I think there's 4 winning chances and all pretty equal. Ryan did ask me whether she's worth bringing over for that race, and I was pretty confident that I thought she'd be pretty competitive. So she arrives this afternoon or whatever at our place, so hopefully don't ruin her on him. She's a really strong filly. She got winning form's good form no matter where it is, and to string 6 wins in a row, you've got to be well above average. So I think she'll definitely hold her own. I agree with Ryan. I think Free as a Bird's far too short. If it's $1.60, I don't think anything should be odds on in this race. I think it's a race of 4, and it just depends on the market and who's probably going to be the overs. But there's no doubt she's good enough to win. She's very strong, and she's a really good filly.
Is she here longer term than just the weekend, Andy?
No, I'm pretty sure she'll just come for this race and then she'll head back home, and she'll probably go for a break, I'd say.
Okay, what's she like as a looker? Can you describe her for us, or have you seen her yet?
No, I haven't seen her yet. She hasn't arrived yet. Eyes on her yet, so I've only
4 legs.
watched her off the TV.
Yeah, good stuff. Good little wrap there. Logical Staffing Solutions provide labour hire and recruitment services to the transport, logistics, and the manufacturing industries. The logical solution for your staffing needs. A new sponsor, but a very much loved and valued sponsor of the Burning Questions. Cam, I'm going to have to reword this, but I will out myself. I stuffed this up here. Cam wins grand finals for fun, but this time is Swayze the right one? I was too worried about making them rhyme to realise you haven't won multiple grand finals yet in the Inter-Dominion. I thought you drove Bonsell Benjamin, but of course you didn't. However, this could be preemptive. You might have another one to your name very soon. But the crux of this question is Swayze the horse to take you to another Inter-Dominion after winning it with I Cast No Shadow last year?
Yeah, I believe so. I definitely wouldn't change my drive if I had the pick of any horse in the race, and he's in super form. I thought he was probably one of the best runs he's put in the second round of heats, just coming off the track in a good last mile. So I think he's in a good place at the moment, and he's done everything that we've asked him of to date. So hopefully he can go New Zealand Cup into the Dominion. It'd be a big effort.
Yeah, you've drawn well in the third race on Saturday night during Gate 1. That's ideal, isn't it? Not having to bustle or work too hard into the final round, and then have a nice freshen up for a week and attack the grand final.
Yeah, we can't complain with the barrier. Obviously, a little bit tricky with some fast beginners out wide with him, but stepping up into his wheelhouse too, the 26.80 is going to be right up his alley. He's a super strong horse, and that can sort a few of them out. Over the sprint trip, everything can run a good mile, but we're stepping out to where he loves it now.
Obviously, he won the New Zealand Cup, then he was scratched from that free-for-all afterwards. I'm only hearing anecdotally, but third or fourth person that said he looked tired and he just needed a little bit of a break. I guess that would be the only question mark. Someone would be saying, right, if he needed a break then, he's travelled back to Australia. He's had to run in 3 rounds of heats and then a grand final. Can he do that? Is he going to be able to handle that? What's your honest opinion of that sort of narrative?
Yeah, everything's saying that he's getting through the runs really well. He was super bright again after the second heat, and obviously Jace put a lot of thought into it and didn't rush his decision to take him to the Inter-Dominion. He really wanted to see how he come back, and he was super happy that he put on a lot of weight as soon as he got home, and he gave him a little bit of work at Menangle and he felt really sharp. So the horse was telling him that he was ready to go again, and he's pulled up as good as he can after the first 2 heats. So I don't think that's worrying him.
Yeah, super. One more from me, so I'll go to you boys in a tick. Narano, Cam, you got in the first race, drawn gate 1 as well. Really good winner of, I think he ran down Better Eclipse, didn't he, on Tuesday night? Maybe just a word on him. And is there any scenario where you would drive Narano in the final over Swayze? Barrier draws, is there any scenario where that might happen?
No, there's no scenario. Obviously, Narano is absolutely flying at the moment, but with him, he probably needs the right trip to win a grand final over the longer trip. And with Swayze, I know no matter where he draws, he's going to be good enough to be put into the race and given his chance. But he's not taking anything away from Narano. He's been super impressive, and he's come up with another good gate in the 3rd round of heats, and I think he'll probably be the one to beat again.
Yeah, cool.
What if I gave you a sling, Cam? I backed Narano the place at $38.50, the place before the series started. And he's now in the 4th favourite. And one thing I will say, and Cam, I'll get your opinion on this. The way I'm seeing Albion Park play in the last 12 months, probably more than ever, I don't know whether it's because they're running faster times, it is such an advantage to be down near the pegs. It's incredible. Like Swayze the other night, I know a lot of people were disappointed in Swayze when he ran 3rd. It's almost impossible to be making ground, when they're dashing home the last half at Albion Park now. There's just not the camber that they have on a lot of other tracks, particularly like Melton, for example. And so those in front or on the pegs are so advantaged, like Plymouth Troubles won the other night. You saw it. Yes, I know it was a trotter, but once they got clear off a soft run, they can just ping off that peg run. And Narano is one of those horses. Gee, I tell you what, if he happens to draw barrier 1 over 2,600 in final, he's got versatile gate speed to put himself, into a race and then take cover. I don't know. Albion Park's the sort of horse that might really suit Narano if he gets that soft peg run,
Yeah, he's certainly a dangerous horse, and for sure it's very hard to make ground wide, and just running those sort of times up front is just impossible, really. And that's why I thought Swayze's run, in my opinion, was probably his 2nd best run he's put in since Jace has had him. Probably the Blacks of Fate winning that was a huge run, and to come wide and only got beat a length was a big run. But yeah, Narano, he's got that good early pace. He can put himself in a position, and you're not wrong. The pegs is the place to be at Albion Park. Yeah,
stick with you, Ryan. Back to the key question: is Swayze the horse? I know you're on. Your pocket says Narano. You only have to run a place, so admittedly. But is Swayze the horse that can take Cam to victory, or have you got Leap to Fame or Better Eclipse from one of the others ahead of him?
Well, full disclosure, and I'm sort of half siding, but also declaring my hand. I backed Narano the place pre-series. I backed Better Eclipse before he hit form in those couple of starts in Melbourne. I got him at $51 and $12.50 a place, so he's tracking well. And I just thought Turn It Up was another one that was going to be a horse that loves Albion Park, and he's probably going to make it in the final. I backed him. I think he was $31 a place as well. So I just spec'd a few roughies, so I'm cheering them. But ultimately, I think it does come down to the top 4 in the market in the paces. And I probably went into the series thinking it was between Leap to Fame and Swayze. The way I'm seeing the track playing, I think it's going to be barrier draw dependent between those 4. And I'll have no problem putting Narano on top if Swayze's drawn off the back row, if Leap to Fame's drawn awkwardly, and probably to a lesser extent Better Eclipse, because I think he does need a few more things to go his way. But as we saw with Narano the other night, he can just come off anything's back and blow them away over 200 metres. So, and we've seen Jason do that with Bonsell Benjamin. No one gave him a chance. He was 100 to 1, he won. And no one really gave I Cast No Shadow a chance, and he won as well. So, and interesting, if he had qualified Better Zip It, which won't qualify for the final, Jason would have had 100% strike rate in horses he's brought to an independent series and qualified them for a final, which is pretty extraordinary. But yeah, I'd probably say there's 3.5 winning chances, and it's going to be barrier draw dependent.
Yeah, that was a really good drive by you in that Bonsell Benjamin race too, Cam. Well done. I've credited you with that. And
Josh, are you winning enough races? Now you're taking one off Josh Gallagher.
It was a great protest hearing too. You really argued your case well. Andy, Swayze, yes or no? And if no, who is your number one seed?
Just to give Ryan a little bit of confidence, just a great form race for the Interminion is the Wangaratta Cup, and I Cast No Shadow won it 3 years ago, and Narano won it 2 years ago or 12 months ago. So,
wow, what a stat!
That's did you come up with that yourself, Andy, or did someone help you there?
Actually, Dan Malecki gave me that because he caught it.
You are the
given
mad
Dan for the help.
professor of harness racing, Andy Gath. You really are.
Obviously, I agree with Cam. I thought Swayze was unbelievably good the other night. Top of the straight, I didn't think he was going to hit the line that good, and he, got up the straight terrific and really fast section also. Obviously, him and Leap to Fame, they're the two top seeds. We know that they're both great horses. They're half brothers. We know the story of both of them. So yeah, they're definitely the two that can make their own luck and win. But Narano and Better Eclipse, they're both dangerous horses as well, and they can both run the time and do in the right position. They're a chance as well. And obviously Turn It Up. He's got that terrific gate speed. It'd be interesting if he does sort of qualify and, get off the front row, probably cross anything. But we know he does hand up. So interesting if he does sort of make the final and see who he does hand up to.
Yeah, good call there. Before we go to the last question, how'd you celebrate the NZ Cup, Cam? Are you a sort of guy that heads out and hits a town like an Andy Gath hits the Red Bull and vodkas? What's your ideal night celebrating a big win?
Yeah, definitely hit the town. Hit the town for about a week in New Zealand. So I needed a week off when I got home, to be honest. It was a big week, but obviously it's pretty hard to go over there and win a New Zealand Cup, so we might never do it again. So we made sure we celebrated accordingly.
Yeah, you're my sort of guy. I like that. Celebrated hard. Let's move on to the last of the burning questions. He's nothing short of a freak. So can anyone stop Harry's Interdom streak? Of course, I'm talking about Just Believe. Might start with you, Andy, here. Trotters very, very well. How to win an Inter-Dominion with them. It's just hard seeing him being beaten. It really is. I mean, what he did in the second round sitting outside Plymouth Chubb, we've spoken about how good, how important it is to be on the pegs or how much of an advantage it is. And I know he didn't win by a big margin, but it was soft enough in the end. Is it just bad luck that beats him, or have you got a different opinion?
No, I think bad luck. A lot of horses, you can always sort of find their Achilles heel, Leap to Fame, you say like a gate speed and whatever. Some horses just need the right trip. He can travel anywhere around the world and he still produces his best. He's bomb-proof as a trotter. Doesn't matter what barrier draw he gets, he can overcome it. And I just love the horse. He's a fantastic trotter, and it's his race to lose. I don't want him as Lower J Farms, but I just think he's clearly the best horse there, and only bad luck would stop him from winning the heat in the final, I'd say.
Ryan, are you of the same opinion?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Andy. I think we should also acknowledge that there's been just complete Victorian dominance in the trotting side of the ID23 series. And it's a credit to obviously our breeding and trotting ranks in Victoria. But if you use last year's Inter-Dominion as a guide, Just Believe had a terrible draw, was able to beat Queen Elida and Mufasa Metro. I think he's going clearly better now 12 months on. So by that score, I think he'll have those two covered. And Queen Elida probably hasn't been the Queen Elida that we maybe knew a month ago in this series. So I think that's the other variable. The one I think could be the forgotten horse is Olivici. Chris Lang, always said that this boy will become a man one day, and he's done that in this series. Like, Olivici's done nothing wrong. He's had terrible draws. The other night, I know Queen Elida went to war with Gus and Olivici, but Olivici had to bring them up into that race when they were running that time, which is not an easy thing to do. And he had a will to win, and I think that could be a real character-building win for him. So I'm not forgetting about Olivici, but look, I love Harry. Just Believe. He's an absolute superstar. I think he's gone to another level. Greg's driving him so well and with so much confidence. And I hope for Greg and Jess that he keeps on winning, because he's a real poster boy for our sport. He's doing great things overseas. There's a lot of interest in Just Believe still post the elite lot. So for our sport here and our great race in Dominion, I think it's important that he runs well, and I hope he does win, because we need as much support for our game right now, and particularly worldwide. So I'll be cheering him on a number of different levels. Just believe.
You want another trip to Sweden, don't you?
No, I think that New Zealand race, that slot race, has unfortunately maybe ruled me out of maybe going back and covering either Queen Elida or Just Believe.
I'll go with Luke Humphries.
Well, yeah, maybe we'll organise a trip to New Zealand, eh? We'll see how we go.
Let's do it. Cam, really interested in your thoughts here, mate. Obviously, you drove Plymouth Chubb on Tuesday night. I must admit I had something on Plymouth Chubb. I just thought, soft lead, heats, won't be a lot of pressure. He went super the night before running past Queen Elida. Just sort of had to have something on him and just beaten on his merits, wasn't he? You must have been, obviously impressed with the way Plymouth Chubb went night one, but I imagine you're just in awe of Just Believe.
Yeah, I was just beaten by a better horse. He's dead set champion, Just Believe. And just the way he does it up the straight, like Greg barely asked him to do it. He's just a horse that wants to do it. And yeah, super impressive. Still really happy with my guy's performance. Won a ripping last half. And yeah, for him to sit outside me like that, he's just on another level, that horse. So
can you see, I know you want to win, you mightn't be driving Plymouth Chubb. We've read that and heard that Karen Manning might be back to drive him in the grand final. But can you see any horse beating Just Believe in the grand final, barring any major catastrophe in the run?
Yeah, it's hard to say that he'd see him getting beat, to be honest. Maybe a really bad barrier and a little bit of bad luck, but if he draws a good barrier, I'd say it's all over for sure. But it's probably only Queen Elida and Plymouth Chubb if he gets a cozy run riding behind him that might be able to knock him off. But yeah, it's pretty hard to see him getting beat the way he's going at the moment.
It's Peter Manning.
Hey, Cam, just one quick one before, I know you're going to wrap up soon, Top. And before we did that, I just wanted to ask about Narano and the heat on Saturday night from Barrier 1. And I've actually tipped a horse that you're driving a little bit later that I'm hoping returns to form as well, Lightning Dan. Just your thought on those two.
Yeah, I really like Narano's race for him. I see a lot of early pace there. I think I've got enough early speed just to hold my own. I don't have to panic. I'd be happy to be, behind leader or even 3 fence. And in this heat, I think there's a lot of horses that need maximum points. They're sort of on the verge of making the final. So I think there'll be that mid race pressure as well. So I think it'll be genuinely run the whole way. And that's going to suit Narano's speed late. If we have to, try and get out on the turn or rail up on the sprint lane, he'll be finishing hard. And Lightning Dan, he's a really talented horse, not going his best. He hasn't been real genuine of late, but he finds a race, I think, where I can drive him pretty positive, and I think he should bounce back. Yeah, good call. Good info there.
Just one more I want to throw in there. I'm not saying you can win the race, but I reckon there'll be a horse that'll sneak into 3rd or 4th in the Inter-Dominion final. I reckon Gus. I was really taken by that run the other night, and even the first round of heats. He's I didn't know much about him, to be honest. I still don't, but I like what I saw. I think he could, with a nice draw, he could figure in the 3rd or 4th in the final. Best bets time, Cam. This is where you really make yourself your name known. You make yourself a hero here, and I don't know if you'll put the pressure on yourself or you'll tip a horse somewhere else. You might even tip a greyhound or a thoroughbred. Let's see what you want to do with your best bet here on the Burning Questions.
Yeah, I'm going to go with my best bet, Narano. I'll put the pressure on myself. I don't mind doing that. So I think he's in great form, and I really see the race panning out well for him. So I think he'll be very hard to beat. Good smile there from you, Ryan. Are you doing the same, or what are you doing with your best bet?
No, well, I'm very keen on the last 3 races at Albion Park on Saturday night. I thought the 2 Chantel Turpin runners and Pete McMullen will combine with Holy Stars in race 8, number 8. And race 9, number 1. But I reckon I might make my best bet a horse that Andy knows a little bit about in the last race, a horse by the name of Pacifico Dream, who's now had 2 runs for Trista Dixon and Grant Dixon. And last start was one first up here, and then last start hit the line really well. I don't know whether you caught that run, Andy, but looks well graded in that race as well. So I might make it my best, but I won't until Andy gives me a bit of a half push.
Yeah, no, obviously, he was a great juvenile, Pacifico Dream, and he won, I think, the 3-year-old Vic Red final for me. Then he obviously had a few little injuries along the way that sort of set him back a bit. So, Grant asked me about him when he saw him up for sale, and I told Grant, I said, he'd be an ideal buy for up there. So hopefully he does a really good job. But yeah, it looks like a winnable race for him. So hopefully can win another race from Pacifico Dream and, stay sound and, win back his purchase price that they paid for him.
Yeah.
Ding, that's my best bet, Top.
All right, done. Pacifico Dream for you. What race was it? Sorry, Ryan?
The last race number, 10 there on Saturday night? Race 10.
Race 10.
Race 10, number 3.
All multis roll into race 10. Andy, what are you doing Saturday night? You'll be playing one of yours, wouldn't you? It's worked for you recently.
Yeah, I'm going to go Magnetic Terror again. Went last week and made sure he drifted, so hopefully he's on the drift again, get $4 again. So Magnetic Terror again for me.
That was outstanding. It was $2.20 out to nearly $5, I reckon. And Dan Malecki let everyone know that it was happening. And I spoke to Darren Carroll about it, and I said, "What'd you do?" He said, "You just keep clicking, mate." Simple as that.
The good judges say if you've got your form right, just keep backing the drift.
That's right. Defy the drift. I like 2 horses. I'm just not sure what price Bulletproof Boy will come up. I just think he wins. I mean, if you get $1.70, $1.80, I think it's a good bet. He just smoked him last week, and he meets a very similar field. So he'll be winning the fast class event at Melton. But I'll go with one in race number 1, and it's called Hot Deal for Aaron Dunn. Just rated much, much better than all his rivals. I reckon he'll bully his way to the front. And he'll be too good. So race 1, number 4, Hot Deal, maybe around the 250 mark. That'll be my best bet on Saturday night. Boys, great show, a long show, but it deserved all the time that it got. So really appreciate you jumping on, Cam. Hopefully your first experience was a good one. And I'm looking forward to the celebration or hearing about the celebration up in Queensland if you happen to pick up one of the Inter-Dominion finals, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I've had a ball, and yeah, it'll be another big celebration if we can get it done again.
Might even jump on a plane and get up there. Ryan, not congratulations. Thank you. I was going to say congratulations on your best bet. That's very preemptive. But thanks for jumping on. Great insights and go well on the coverage, of course, this Saturday night and in a week's time on December 16, which is my birthday. So I expect a shout out, mate.
Yeah, no, sounds good. Toc and Cam, if you do celebrate on Saturday night, maybe just don't go to the owners bar up there at Albion Park. Oh, is that too soon? Too soon.
Nah, it's not too soon, but it's probably a good tip.
We'll leave. I can edit that out, but we'll let that go. Andy, you're a good man. Great to have you back on the burning questions because I thought I thought that essay cap might have finished you off, but good to have you back here. When your tail's up, you don't mind jumping on. So if you get beaten on Saturday night or your horses don't go that well, promise me you'll be on next week.
I'll be on, and I'm one of the unfortunate ones that have been invited to your birthday party, which is on Inter-Dominion, but who celebrates a 37th birthday?
Yeah, I know. That is true.
Hang on, are you saying Tim's 37?
Yeah.
You can't see the greys. I sit in the shade.
You need a bit of filter on your camera there, Toc.
Yeah, 37. Actually, I will. Before we do go, you've said one funny joke in your life, Andy. When Adam Hamilton put the tweet out saying that the Inter-Dominion final was on at 6:30, Andy said, "Oh, beauty! I'll definitely come to your party. 6:30 through to 7:30, I can head home." So.
The invite said stay there until the final, so
yeah, I'll see you for half an hour. I'm thankful that we get an extra hour here. You will have to hang around till 7:30, I think, was the time difference. But yeah, that wasn't bad from you. Anyway, let's wrap it up. We're waffling on. That's been Burning Questions on December 7. Big racing at Albion Park on Saturday night, and also on trotsvision.com.au here at Melton. Let's take a deep breath, and we'll reconvene next week. Cheers.